Inner Circle are a Jamaican reggae group. The group was originally called the Inner Circle Band and formed in 1968. The band achieved major success in the 1970s with Jacob Miller as their lead singer, but split up after his death in 1980. They reformed in 1986 and had a major hit with the 1987 song Bad Boys, which serves as the theme song for Fox Network's long-running television program Cops. They are also well known for their song Sweat, a big hit in the US in the early 1990s. The band is known for blending pop and rock with reggae. Career. Early career. The band was formed in 1968 by the brothers Ian and Roger Lewis with then 12-year-old Stephen "Cat" Core and Michael Cooper. They appeared on record in 1970, backing the Chosen Few on the Derek Harriott-produced single, Why Can't I Touch You, with the Inner Circle Band credited with the instrumental version on the B-side. This was one of several singles on which they backed the Chosen Few. In 1970 the band was expanded when they were joined by drummer William Stewart, percussionist Irvin Carrot Jarrett, and the band's original singer William "Bunny" Ruggs Clark. The band played on Eric Donaldson's hit single Cherry Oh Baby, and recorded their own version as Red Cherry. Jarrett left the band in 1972, with singer Clark leaving the following year when he moved to New York. Clark's replacement was Milton "Prilly" Hamilton, but this lineup was short-lived as the band split in two with Core, Cooper, and Hamilton leaving to form Third World in 1973. Core and Cooper were then students of the University of the West Indies, studying for various degrees and were soon joined in Third World by fellow Inner Circle departees Clark and Jarrett. Meanwhile, Inner Circle retooled the lineup by recruiting keyboard players Charles Farquharson and Bernard Harvey, as well as drummer Calvin McKenzie as a replacement for Stewart. The band played the hotel and club circuit in Kingston, playing a mixture of reggae, pop and soul hits, and released their first album, Dread Reggae Hits, in 1973 on Ian Lewis's top-ranking label. The Jacob Miller years. After recording with singer Funky Brown, they recruited Jacob Miller as a permanent vocalist, and had a hit single with a version of the Stylistics' You Make Me Feel Brand New. Some of Miller's work with the band was credited to Miller alone, including the Tenement Yard single. The band was signed by Capitol Records, who issued the albums Reggae Thing and Ready for the World. They toured the United States with American guitarist, Ed Elzelder. In 1978 they moved on to Island Records, who released the Everything Is Great album in 1978, which included the UK hit singles Everything Is Great, and Stop Breaking My Heart, and New Age Music the following year. The band was joined by New York session guitarist Joe Ortiz, dubbed Jizzy by the band, who added the first touches of hard rock, jazz, and blues to the group. Ortiz recorded at Compass Point Studios for the Everything Is Great album on Island Records, and later joined the group for their European tour in 1978 and 1980. Lester Adderley joined the group for the New Age Music album on guitar. Also released in the late 1970s were two dub albums based on Miller's solo albums Killer Miller and Wanted, but credited to Inner Circle. The band gained further exposure via their performance in the film Rockers, playing a hotel house band. At his peak in the 1970s, only Bob Marley was more popular in Jamaica than Miller, and as a live act nobody equaled their popularity. Miller's death in car crash on March 23, 1980 led the band to split up, with the Lewis brothers and Touter Harvey moving to Miami, where they opened a studio in a warehouse, later opening their own Circle House recording studio, and the band has been based in Miami since then. After Miller's death in 1980, the band had one more American tour, inviting Norman Grant from the Twinkle Brothers for vocals. Reformation and U.S. success. In 1981, with Bay Area lead guitarist, Mark Castro, they recorded the album Something So Good. Due to the loss of Jacob Miller, the members asked Mark Castro to help them find a new vocalist. Mark brought Rick Hunt to the band. Something So Good includes the memorable signature lead guitar solos that only Mark Castro can produce, especially when A Man Loves a Woman and World 2000. Something So Good was released in 1982. They reformed in 1986 with the Lewis brothers and Harvey joined by singer Courtney Coffey and drummer Lancelot Hall, and this lineup released the Black Roses album. The band's next album, One Way, included one of their biggest hits, Bad Boys, which was re-recorded for their 1989 album Identified and became the theme music for the Fox TV series Cops that year. California guitarist Dave Gonzalez, by Mark Castro's recommendation, joined the band for a tour in 1989. Bad Boys was reissued as a single in 1991 and charted in several countries in Europe, but it was its 1993 re-release in the US that achieved the greatest success. The 1992 album Bad to the Bone was picked up by Atlantic Records and reissued as Bad Boys to capitalize on the success of the single. It sold more than 500,000 copies in the US and more than 4 million worldwide. The band received a Grammy Award in 1993 for Best Reggae Album by Duo or Group for Bad Boys, and the album also spawned the international hit single Sweat, which was a number 3 hit in the UK singles chart and topped the chart in 10 countries, selling over 1 million copies in Europe, while Bad Boys peaked at number 52. It was their second American hit, reaching number 16 on the Billboard Hot 100. Bad Boys was used in the 1995 film of the same name starring Will Smith and its sequel Bad Boys 2, and a ringtone based on the song was on the Billboard Hot Ringtones chart for over 110 weeks. They received a second Grammy nomination in 1994 for the album Reggae Dancer, which included a cover of Joe South's Games People Play, which was released as a single. Coffee left in the mid-1990s to pursue a solo career, and they were joined in 1994 by Chris Bentley, who made his album debut on Da Bomb, released on the band's own Soundboy Entertainment label. In 1999 they released the album Jamaican Me Crazy on their own Eureka label. The 2000 album Big Tings featured guest appearances from Mr. Vegas, Beenie Man, Luciano, Anthony B., and Glenn Washington. In 2008, Junior Jazz took over as lead vocalist. As well as running the Circle Sound studio, the band members also run the Circle Sound production company. The band's 2009 album State of Da World featured contributions from an array of reggae stars including Luciano, Damian Marley, Stephen Marley, Junior Reid, Muta Baruka, Bushman, David Hines of Steel Pulse, and members of Slightly Stupid. In 2012, the band launched the Saving the Reggae Music campaign with the aim of promoting traditional reggae music over the increasingly US-influenced music coming out of Jamaica. The band's 2012 album Dubits featured collaborations with Peter Morgan, Ken Booth, Marcia Griffiths, Glenn Washington, Ali Campbell of UB40, Gramps Morgan, A.J. Brown, and Marty Dredd. The group went on to record with several younger singers and DJs, including Damian Marley, One Octane, Kao, and Chronix, with whom they recorded an updated version of Tenement Yard. Members. Current members: Ian Lewis Euro bass, vocals, Roger Lewis Euro guitar, vocals, Bernard Tauter-Harvey Euro keyboards, vocals, Lancelot Hall Euro drums, percussion, Trevor Scatterbonic Euro vocals. Former members: Mark Castro, guitar, Ed Eelzelder, guitar, Michael Ebo Cooper Euro keyboards, Stephen Cat Core Euro guitar, William Stewart Euro drums, William Bunny Ruggs Clark Euro vocals, Irvin Carrot Jarrett Euro percussion, Milton Prilly Hamilton Euro vocals, Charles Farquharson Euro keyboards, Calvin Mackenzie Euro drums, Funky Brown Euro vocals, Jacob Miller Euro vocals, Lester Adelier Euro guitar, Joe Ortiz, lead guitar, Norman Grant Euro vocals, Rick Hunt Euro vocals, Michael Sterling Euro lead guitar, vocals, Coulton Coffey Euro vocals, Dave Gonzalez Euro lead guitar, Chris Bentley Euro vocals, Junior Jazz Euro vocals, guitar. Discography Studio albums compilations Reggae Greats, Jacob Miller and Inner Circle, Island, Rewind. PT2, The Singers, The Best of Inner Circle, Mango, The Best of Inner Circle, Capital, Super Best of, Big in Jamaica, Music Club Euro Inner Circle and Jacob Miller, Jar Jar People, Metrodome, It's Da Non-Stop Best of Inner Circle, WEA Japan, Cool Operator, This is Crucial Reggae, RAS, Forward Jar Jar Children, Trojan, Mixed Up Moods, Absurd Japan, It's Da Best of Inner Circle, WEA Japan, Da Covers. It's Da New Best of Inner Circle, WEA Japan, Blazin' Fire, Dubshot, The Best of Inner Circle, Everything is Great, Island. Live albums For Jar Jar People, highlights from the 5th Cartagena Festival, Charlie. Singles 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, 2000s and 2010s. References. External links, official website.